I am recording right now. Just press record. So just put a thumbs up to the camera just to let me know that it's okay. Perfect. Great. That we're recording. Cool. So could you tell us a little about your story, like where you grew up and when you moved?
Well, I grew up in south of Pakistan in a city named Karachi. Basically, I lived there for better part of my entire life, for good 27 years there. And I just moved back to UK in 2018 to do my masters, and ever since I'm living here now.
Hmm.
So, as for the transition from one part of the world to the other, it was quite a big leap for me, but it wasn't that I would say astonishing because I had been coming and going to the UK for vacations and stuff, so the environment and the dealing with people wasn't that alienating to me. So yeah, but entirely the lifestyle and the culture definitely is very different. And I wouldn't say that the back home culture is nice or this one's better. I would say they are just different.
Could you like what about Pakistani culture is different from kind of Western European culture?
Right. So the basic thing is I'm not like differentiating between cultures, but I'm just stating the obvious. Was the major thing that defines the culture back home in Pakistan is that people are very welcoming in a way that even if they meet someone and they are more than happy to allow them people to come into their household, have dinner with them, mingle up with them, help them in any way. They're just in general very welcoming and helpful. Obviously, I understand there's a lot of different notions going to the media about different parts of the world, but I would say that's totally not the case. It's unless you experience it yourself firsthand, you just shouldn't believe what the information is circulating on the media.
Mhm. Yeah, and and the UK now, like what are the things about the UK that you were surprised by when you moved there?
Surprised by. Well, I wouldn't say I was surprised by it because I was just hoping to have all the things here, and I happily found all of these things here, like healthcare or basic facilities or rules and regulation, following of them, people being very courteous in if you are just crossing a road, so they make sure that you are safe. Back home, that's not the case. The following of the traffic rules and stuff like that. So some basic details, some basic things that should be implemented every part of the world. Sadly, they aren't.
Could you talk a little bit about that, like the traffic rules in Pakistan versus the UK?
Yeah, for sure. So, first of all, traffic rules are everywhere. Like back home, there are traffic rules, but it's just a part of them being implemented or them being followed.
Ah,
So, if you just go on a first driving test for yourself to get yourself a provisional license for 6 months or so, you have all the booklet with you as well. Like you have the rule book in the UK and likewise in any part of the world. There are all the signages mentioned, all the road lines, what each line means and stuff. It's everything there. It's just a matter of people not knowing it. So that's the thing that it's because it doesn't get followed properly.
do you miss Pakistan at all? Is
I
there any
do miss
part?
a lot. Yes, there are many things that I missed. Good things and bad things as well. Like for traffic, I can drive here with my one eye closed and I'll be safe. Through my journey. If I'm driving back home, I need to have my two eyes, my passenger seat two eyes, and to four eyes at the back as well for me to drive my car
Oh my
safely.
God! Like, are you afraid like people are gonna run out in the street and get run over? Like, is that
Oh,
kind of what you're talking
yeah,
about?
anyone is on the road. So it for on the road rules is like from bigger to small. If you are a car, you need to look after yourself for a truck, and if you're a truck, you need to look after yourself from another larger truck.
For a plane.
Yeah, exactly. So it just goes like, if you're on a motorbike, you won't look after the pedestrian who's crossing the road, but you will be looking after the car who's about to hit you or not hit you.
Do you?
So it's
Oh my
a
god.
vicious thing. Yeah.
Wait, did you ever like accidentally run over someone?
Not run over someone. I had been driving a car in Pakistan for good 10 years before I moved here. So I had a lot of experience. So thankfully, I never run over to anyone. Obviously, but mishaps like touch and go stuff during a traffic with a motorbike or with another car happens because everyone wants to go first. So
So
you just have to make your own way in the traffic.
that's like the same everywhere. Everyone wants to do their own thing. Everyone wants to get everywhere fast, you know. It just seems like in Pakistan, like people will run over you more so than in the UK.
Yeah, because everyone thinks that their work that they are going to is the most important in the world. Any other person, whatever they are doing, is lesser than what they are doing.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's the major drawback, I would say.
What could you share like what is the craziest story you have about Pakistan and what's the craziest story you have about the UK?
Well, the craziest, I wouldn't say it's the craziest story for me, but it's definitely going to be craziest for people listening to this. It's like for public transport, we don't have a proper public transport in place, but whatever we have, it's like a bus, like a normal public bus, but people tend to sit on top of the bus as well when the bus inside is full. So usually, in the UK, as soon as you enter the bus, there's mentioned, okay, there's a capacity of 28 people sitting and 14 standing, or it could be 20 sitting and 18 standing, depending upon the foldable chairs that they have inside. And but in Pakistan, it's just a matter of you sitting next to the person as closely as possible, or on one on the other. It doesn't make any difference as long as you are in the bus. That's fine. If that's not the case, you can just hang around the bus door outside. And that's not the case, if it's a rush hour, people are returning back from work or from day shifts, they just climb on the top of the bus from the back and they're just gonna make a ride back home. That's
Climb on
a
top of the bus. Wow. Could you
that's very
imagine in
easy.
London? Could you imagine like people in Armani suits climbing on top of the bus in London?
True. You can't just do that anywhere here,
Yeah.
at least.
It's just yeah, it's just yeah.
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 Go on.
It's just a completely different culture, you know? It's what do you think like people in Pakistan, the culture, like what do you think that they get more than the UK?
I would say the joy of sharing things with no expectations afterwards. So it's just that people are. That's my perspective because I've lived there and I know what people natures are. In my deep down in my heart, each and every individual is good from their heart. It's just a matter of the circumstances they've been in and what they have been exposed to and what they absorb out of it. It doesn't really make sense that you're good or I'm bad or I'm the worst and I don't like people and I have strong feelings against any individual. It's not like that. It's just because they have been in certain situation where they tried to be nice with other people and it turned back nicely on them. So it's just a matter of what the situation was when that particular human being was trying to absorb from the society.
Hmm.
So
What
yeah.
what about your interests? Like, so you said you were there getting your master's degree. Were you able to get to study what you wanted to in Pakistan, or did you just want to go to the UK for your degree?
No, I would say the past decade, at least, there have been multiple options other than a person becoming a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. These were the three major disciplines back in the days that one had to follow. But now it's like multiple fields, you name it, and everything's being taught there. I was lucky enough to pursue what I wanted to pursue in my bachelor's degree, which I did from back home. After
Hmm.
that, I did my professional career as well for there for good 2 3 years, and then after doing that, I moved here for my master's.
Wow. And what are you studying, or what did you study?
I studied architecture. I,
Wow.
prac- I practiced as a junior architect, project architect for 3 years back home. And then after gaining some experience, I realized I can be a bit better at executing stuff rather than in the initial stages of design. So then I pursued my master's in construction management. And yeah, I got that. And now I'm trying to work in the same field.
Wow. How is it going? How is everything going with that? How is life
Uh,
treating you?
Life's treating me very well, thank God. But
Mm.
it's just a couple of, I would say, it's more than a year now with everyone's facing the pandemic, and so it's has brought everything at a halt practically. So it's just a matter of having patience and being persistent on what you're doing at the moment, and don't keep your hopes low, keep them high.
One of the last questions I'll ask is is Pakistan and the UK, are they treating COVID very differently? Are they handling the
Oh,
response differently?
well, I would say yes, and the response from the governments treating the COVID is very different because they both started taking it seriously on very different levels. So UK sort of started to take it seriously 3 or 4 months after it was turning into a pandemic because it started in December and the first lockdown happened in March. And in Pakistan, it was the same case, but there wasn't so much of an international travel coming into Pakistan initially. That was the major reason. It didn't spread that rapidly, and obviously the news spread rapidly rather than the virus itself. So the Pakistan had a chance to take actions within the first couple of months, and that's why they were. I think I'm not sure, but I think they were able to contain it slightly better than the UK.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's interesting. What are your perceptions of the United States? And what do you think the people, your family, and the people that you know in Pakistan, like, what are their perceptions of the United States?
Right. Okay. So my perspective comes from various places. It comes from YouTube. It comes from documentaries. It comes from true events, movies that are made. It comes from obviously from the news, and lastly from the social media. So there are many aspects in coming into play where when it comes to my perspective of the United States. So
Hmm.
it's probably is going to be hypocritical of me at some point or not, but it's a mixture of many sources,
Okay.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so at times it seems like no, they are just like us. It's just a matter of being in a different part of the world and governed by different mindset over there. And at some point, it feel like no, they are actually the first world country, and we are, or the other parts are the third world or the second world in that order. And thirdly, I think that the leadership is different and the United States of America is totally different. So your question was about the United States of America. So my answer would be different to that. And what I think about the United States of America in terms of the political point of view, it could be very different.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's your response is very measured, and I guess I'm asking because I'll guess I'll ask a different question. In what ways do you think the United States is doing well in what they're doing, and in what ways do you think we could improve?
Oh, they are doing well, but I think it goes without saying in terms of information technology. it could be in each and every aspect, from AI to machine learning to implementation of technology in cars, in day-to-day transactions on the shopping malls and stuff like that, because it has the resources, it has the technology, it has the money power to invest in it. So that's a good thing, which either it had been America or it had been Australia as the first world country, they'd be doing this. So that credit doesn't actually go to the America itself. It's just it had to be like the first world country. They are, and they are the most powerful currency in the world, so they can do this. If you know what I mean, it's not just
Yes.
the people of America. Then they should be proud of it. Or had there been Nepal or Bhutan, the first world country, so they'd be doing this because they are the country or the state that other countries look up to, so they have certain obligation from the United Nations or from throughout the world that they need to progress in technology.
Hmm.
And what was the other question? Sorry.
Yeah. In what way could the U.S. improve? Um, yeah. How do you think that we could be a more helpful society towards the rest
Uh,
of the world?
I would say stop. Oh, but this response from my end is going to be coming from the news side
Okay.
or the social media side of
No.
the thing that my response is to stop invading other cities. That's again, this response, like I said, is coming from the news side, what we've been known. Because I have never been to America, I don't know how the
That's okay.
legislation
Well, see,
works.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And see, this is the thing is that like there are billions of people who have opinions about the U.S. You know, whether or not they're based in fact or not. Like it sounds that you are very well read and you're also very aware of where you get your sources, which is really important. It's very important. And so like there are billions of people who have opinions and stories, and I'm interested in hearing like yeah your thoughts of how America could be better. And it sounds like from your perspective that we invade a lot, and I think that's
Also,
true.
if you want a more clarified or more crisp answer to your last
Yes,
question,
yes.
if you could, or the people listening or would be listening to this can go back to a TV series that was called The Newsroom. I think it was Jeff Daniels, the actor is, and he was asked in that show that by a lady or student. The question was, what does make America the greatest country in the world? And then he didn't want to answer. Then he got forced, and then he answered that it's not the greatest country in the world, but it was. And then he continued his answer that why it was and why it isn't now. So if you guys can just go to that TV series, The Newsroom, it was the HBO series as far as I can remember.
That's right.
So you'll get the answer from there as well.
Great. That's great. Thank you so much for taking time. And I guess my last question for you is, do you have any advice or final thoughts that you'd like to share with people who watch this channel? Mainly the audience are people from India and also from the US. Those are the two main audiences. So any advice or thoughts that you'd like to share with them?
Well, my advice and thoughts again, this part of my answer is going to come from the social media
But,
aspect, okay?
but hey, it's coming from you, man. It's coming from you. Okay? Yeah,
Yeah,
just be
whatever I can absorb from the sources, that's it. So I tend to follow a couple of people on social media, and namely, I would say uh, Gary Vaynerchuk from USA.
Could you type that name in?
Yeah, there you
Great.
go.
Great.
And
Thank
the
you.
other person is David Goggins. They are from totally different background, and they're totally different learnings. But what I get out of them are just handful of things. Have empathy toward others, have patience, Don't leave or have any grudges for other people, no matter how harsh they have been to you in the past or whether you like them or not. Hate is a very strong word. You can dislike someone, but you should never hate someone. And lastly, be helpful in any way and any capacity you can. So that's my take on life.
Ah, so heartfelt, man. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and for, yeah, for stopping and for sharing your story.
You're most welcome.
Um, so I'm gonna be uploading this video in the next 10 minutes. Yeah. What is there a name that you'd like for me to put on the channel?
Um, I'm so not sure what name to give this. Yeah, let's go with empathy.
Haha.
Yeah, that's my word. Like I've been attached to this word, and I try to keep this in mind whatever I do.
Thank you. Thank you for
Um,
taking time and yeah, so make sure to subscribe to the channel building underscore bridges. That way you'll be able to see your video pop up. And if you like the video as well, and on any other videos that you check out, it'll suggest that other people watch the video too. So you can help your voice be shared by liking the video too. Okay?
Appreciate it so much, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice one.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Hmm. Smart guy. Smart guy. Empathy. I'm telling you, the more the more you reach out, the more that you talk to people, the more you realize just how much everyone cares. The more you realize that people understand that love is a connective tissue that we need to cultivate. Everyone gets it. It's just very difficult to structure. It takes vulnerability to really push for that, because it seems weak. It absolutely seems weak, at least by the culture that I'm from. So, thank you. See you guys later.